Hello and a very warm welcome to ET Studios at Brand Equity Martech Plus Summit powered by Clevertap. I'm your host Divina Lasson, and on this series we're going to deep dive into crafting hyper-personalized journeys, how leading brands elevate their customer engagement. Here to discuss this and much more are esteemed guests, Abhishek Gupta, COO Clevertap, and Nishadh Amonkar, Product Lead Swiggy. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for joining. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Nishad, love to deep dive with you now because we're here today to talk about crafting hyper personalized experiences for customers. No conversation on this topic can be had without talking of the role of data, right? So, especially from your point of view, really interesting to understand how data is driving real time insights that ultimately guides, of course, your marketing processes, how you engage with customers, and how do they stay loyal at the end of the day thanks to all these initiatives?
Sure, I think that's a great question. So I think at the heart of what we do at Swiggy, we believe that being customer backward, or rather understanding what works the best from a customer perspective, is what is something that we should stitch,
Yeah.
right? Whether it comes to product initiatives, whether it comes to stitching marketing campaigns, it's all about being customer backward. And the only way you can really do that is by back of leveraging data, whether it is
Absolutely.
quantitative data, data that happens on the app in the form of the actions that the user takes, or qualitative data which comes in from speaking with customers, and that's something that we really do very comprehensively at Swiggy, right? Now, talking about hyper personalization, I think personalization is something that's more of table stakes, right? Understanding user behavior, understanding segmentation, how do you form cohorts based on different attributes. Hyper personalization, we're taking it one step ahead, wherein we are building cohorts based on real-time signals, serving user with what's more relevant for them.
Yep.
Like what becomes crucial here is the context. The like if I were to simply put it in the form of push notifications, which are now powered by Clevertap for us.
Nice.
Right copy at the right time to the right user is what would change the game, right? Uh, Swiggy is a highly numbers driven org, right? So anything and everything is numbers backward. When it comes to assessing whether marketing campaigns work, whether product initiatives work, whether experiments work, what we do is break the experiment down into what would be the North Star that we're chasing in terms of what would be the primary metric that
Yeah.
this would move. More of a like if I were to put it in the context of, let's say, push notifications or any kind of marketing comms, that would be click-through rates. It would be CVR, which is the conversion. So that's one bit, right? Talking about and here I would like to maybe bring about one campaign that we had recently done.
Yeah.
I mean, cricket and superstitions is something that's very closely connected, right? We are very superstitious when it comes to when our favorite batsman,
Sure.
say in my case it's Virat Kohli, who's batting. We'll take all the actions necessary that we don't disturb any kind of setting, whether it comes to even moving from one chair to
Sure.
the other chair, right? We like from a psychological perspective, this is called illusory correlation,
Yes, okay.
wherein you tend to have certain events, two or more events. You feel that those events are connected in some way or the other, but actually, logically speaking, there's no relationship, and that's exactly what we kind of capitalized upon. So, India versus Pakistan, I think there's nothing more charging there
Sure.
than an India-Pakistan match, and I think it was about 11 months or so in October. I think it was October or September 23 when India was playing Pakistan, and the last time they had played was around almost 11 months back.
Yes.
So what we did was we actually used that as a hook, and we created a push notification campaign, titling it as Replay with Swiggy,
Nice.
where we reminded users that, hey, on the last time that India played on, let's say, X 2022, you had ordered from this particular restaurant, right? And there itself, we had like stellar results.
Nice.
Our CTRs were up by almost 40%. It also had great downstream metrics. Now, what really went at play over here was that firstly, we went deep into understanding what is the is there any affinity of users to specific brands, specific dishes that they had ordered on that day, and then we called out those specific restaurants in the marketing campaign. So
Okay.
they were able to build that connection,
Sure.
and that's what really worked out well for us. So it was a mix of data, and some kind of intelligence on the emotional slash psychological territory.
Wonderful. What an excellent example. Thanks for sharing that. Abhishek, let's get you in on this. So, in your experience, what is the role that data and those real-time statistics analysis, what role does that play in really helping brands to get to their customer in the right way at the right time?
Yeah, data plays a pivotal role.
Yeah.
It's a fuel that drives everything. But let's take a step back, right? If I look at the space, if I look at Swiggy, for example, and then we work with Swiggy very closely. We work with practically every food tech company in the country, and practically like maybe majority or all of the on-demand services, like broadly looking at the category. And one of the most important aspect here is about habit formation.
Yes.
Because, for example, let's say when I'm using Swiggy, and I'm a big consumer of Swiggy, by
Yeah,
the
me
way.
too.
So when you are there, and let's say if you, for an example, like let's say you're ordering for dinners, right, and you come to the platform every day, or whenever you want to come and order for food for dinner, which is great, right? But the point is, with Swiggy, what we have done and what we have seen is the need and the ability to sort of build another habit. Another habit is breakfast or lunch, right? Or it could be, let's say, dessert for dinner. So that ability to go ahead and build those additional habits, they basically drive the affinity of the consumers toward the platform.
Yes.
In turn, creating a lot more value for the consumers and a lot more value for the brand itself, and creating that habit formation products. The ability to do that requires technology that allows you to do it, whether it be in terms of storing vast amount of consumer data that basically allows you to identify their preferences, the patterns that we are seeing, so that we can meet their current and latent needs. But on the top of it today, the biggest transformation that is happening, and where the data plays a pivotal role, to the question that you asked, is data is actually driving a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Yes.
So the future belongs to, like, as we think about the future, our ability to anticipate these customer needs will play a pivotal role.
Yes.
And particularly when we want to create these additional habits. Like today, for example, let's say a consumer is maybe ordering food on Swiggy, but then there is Instamart.
Yeah.
So now you want them to order for that.
Yes.
But there also you have like a different loop of
Yes.
habit formation that kicks
Yes,
in, right?
yes.
So on and on it goes. It's a phenomenal loop. And I think at the core of it is data, the ability to analyze the data, the ability to sort of understand user preferences, and then creating those delightful end user experiences.
Absolutely. Ever evolving process, right? Never stops.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. So Nishadh, you've discussed a little bit about how you get to those hyper personalized experiences. What does it take though to assess the efficacy of the strategies, campaigns that you set in place? Are there any specific metrics that you look at?
Yeah, typically we follow an experimentation-driven culture at Swiggy, whether it comes to product building or whether we talk about marketing campaigns, to say the least, right? And I think the one thing that really matters when it comes to experiments is you're trying to build some hypothesis, you're trying to rather validate some hypothesis, and that is around whether a certain intervention can move the needle in any way or the other, right? That's when you define some kind of a North Star. If we talk about marketing campaigns, then in most cases, it's going to be the click-through rate, which is nothing but out of the users who, let's say, saw the message or saw the campaign, what percentage of those users end up clicking on that message. And then it's about taking the action, whichever action. In most cases, it's placing an order, and that's how we define the bottom of the funnel or the conversion funnel. Now, in some cases where we would want to, let's say, create some awareness, I think more than clicks, it's also about whether users saw us, right? Whether there was an impression. So I think to sum it up, click-through rate, CTRs, CVR, which is conversion, and end of the day, we try to stitch this to the metric which really matters, which is the orders per day or the gross order value that we kind of generate from these campaigns and products.
Absolutely wonderful. And so, okay, in a space where both your customer expectation is ever evolving, your hyper personalized experiences that you offer are ever evolving, what would you say is a kind of a key factor that keeps you going, that keeps your North Star alive? And what role does it play to partner with people like Clevertap, companies like Clevertap that really offer those tools and tech that support the ideation?
I think at the heart of everything we do, like I said, data plays a very important role. And at the same time, when you're a growth-centric organization, you are hunting for that every small wafer thin margin,
Yes.
irrespective of how
True,
small it is.
true.
And the only way that you can really do that is by means of experimentation, right? So on one hand, there is insane amount of data, right? And I would say data by itself doesn't really add any meaning. It's only when you perform certain analysis, you build certain method to the overall madness, is when you can derive some value out of it. So from a data perspective, we have various solutions like Snowflake and Databricks, which kind of help us store data efficiently. Then it's about cleaning the data or transforming the data into something that's more meaningful. That's where our in-house ML models, our data science pipelines come into the picture. And then once you have this model in place, then it's about triggering that customer engagement,
Yes.
right? So when we talk about marketing, there is essentially two bits to it, rather three bits to it. One bit is in-app marketing, which are all the native technologies that we've built in-house. Then there is performance marketing, which is your paid media running ads across different platforms. And the third one is own media, which is where we talk about Clevertap powering most of our own media channels, which is whether push notifications or WhatsApp or
Sure.
email and so on.
Sure. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Abhishek, before we wrap up, can you leave us with a little bit of insight on what innovations we can look forward to when it comes to Martech that really powers and fuels companies like Swiggy?
Yeah, see, no, a lot of innovation actually,
Yes.
a lot of innovation, and so innovation is essentially the driving factor for us. Innovation in terms of thinking about where a client's businesses need to be, where customer experience needs to be, and building tech that essentially facilitates the two. One of the most important things in the business that we are in is user retention, which means at what frequency are users again coming back onto a customer's platform. Like for example, in case of Swiggy, like how frequently are people coming back, doing an activity and then ordering food, for example, or ordering from Instamart. And being able to facilitate all of this is very, very critical. And we need, when I think about the like a product roadmap, and when I sort of look ahead, there are 2-3 things which are very important for us. Number one is the customer journey is becoming a lot more nuanced. It is no more like a unidimensional journey. So our ability to sort of sift through the journey, being able to identify insights and opportunities, that's one important thing. Second is while the goals of the marketing teams are going up, the size of the marketing teams is essentially is going small, right? It's a little bit of an ironical thing, but in that situation, it's very, very important for us to help marketeers do more with less. And that's a conscious thought that we're investing in. And third is, I think we know that the tech, we've been investing in AI for last several years.
Sure.
Generative AI has become like a commonplace thing today. But what we have seen is when our customers use our AI, Nishadh spoke about CTRs. They're actually getting at least 4 to 6 times more CTRs using the artificial intelligence tech that we have, whether it be in terms of crafting these personalized messages, whether it be in terms of creating these predictive segments, or whether it be in terms of being able to just create those predictive journeys. So I think we are at a point in time where there is a lot to look forward to,
Absolutely.
but a true North Star will be making sure that our brands that we work with are succeeding, and the customers are both of us, they're actually having a great experience with us.
Absolutely wonderful. So well said. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Such a pleasure to have you and hear all your insights here on ET Studios. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.